there is somebody that I don't love, and I haven't loved for a long time, and he's a little cherub that plays quarterback for my New York Jets.
But he's so good now.
I don't know exactly what happened last night, but I'm pretty sure the real Zach Wilson is hogtied in a custodial closet somewhere in MetLife Stadium, because I have never seen the quarterback that I saw last night. Never. Oh, but he lost in the game on the fumble. No, the center lost in the game because you don't put it in the left pocket of a right-handed quarterback, dum-dum, and you've been in this league long enough to know that. Yes, he took his eye off the ball. They wouldn't have been in the game without him, so sorry, he's not the reason they lost. I do like that he completely copped to "I cost us the game," in spite of the fact I don't agree with it.
But he had to.
Well, it's a lot better than what Justin Fields did. So.
Oh, well, yeah, but remember we went through this last year.
Oh, no doubt.
With Zach Wilson saying, it is what it is.
And
he did the Justin Fields thing last year.
And
At
the
least
response was phenomenal. We have a super chat from our buddy Curtis Davis, who said the refs screwed the Jets so much I thought the Jets were in the AFC West for a minute. Bolt up, family, trust, respect. We love you, Curtis Davis, and I'm glad you said that because I agreed wholeheartedly, and I apologize to all of Woodfin that got to hear my feelings on it really loudly at about 11 o'clock last night. Officials are bad. That was a terrible holding call on Sauce Gardner. Terrible holding, missed call. I think Jermaine Johnson is still being held as we speak.
Yes.
I'm not sure Donovan Smith has let him go yet.
He was held so bad, he had a civil rights violation argument to make.
He was held for so long that he finally, whilst still being held, flailed his arms at the official like, I'm going to do jumping jacks in the hopes that you notice me eventually. They didn't. Now, here is what I will say about my beloved Jets. Yes, you got me interested again because that version of Zach Wilson means the season is not over. I also must touch on the fact that Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know how this went completely unnoticed. Did you hear the sideline report of they had talked to Aaron, and he said, I absolutely plan on coming back to play this year.
Yes.
Not next year.
No.
This year.
He still believes he'll be back in January.
I don't know what kind of voodoo witchcraft doctor you have that's treating you. That's not going to happen. But I saw enough last night to say that Zach Wilson, there could still be something there. I think he is. I think the switch clicked. He's picking up the Nathaniel Hackett offense. And that's the positive I'm going to say about Nathaniel Hackett. Then comes the negative. Why? For the love of all that's good and holy, will you not run the damn ball? Breece Hall's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. He has 32 carries the entire year. Run the stupid ball.
He had 9.3 yards per carry last night.
I don't know how this is so hard for an NFL coordinator to figure out. The best player on your offense is Garrett Wilson. A very razor-thin close second is Breece Hall, who may very well be the best running back in the NFL. I know that sounds crazy for me to say. I've watched every carry he's had in his entire career. He may be the best running back in this league, and you just refuse to give it to him. If you want to – did you notice last night that things opened up after they finally gave a carry to Breece Hall? Because then you had to honor that and keep that extra guy in the box and not just send him barreling down at Zach Wilson. Did you happen to notice that? Nate, buddy, old pal, you moron. I never thought I could hate an offensive coordinator as bad as I hated his father. It took him 4 weeks to do it. And yes, there was good. There was good. You got Zach Wilson on rhythm, which nobody has been able to do outside of one game with the Tennessee Titans 3 years ago. If you can do that, this team is not dead yet. They play the Denver Broncos this week. And I will make a very spirited argument that this is the biggest game of Zach Wilson's career. Because you have to win this. You have to. But if you look at that schedule, you can call me a homer. You can call me a crazy person. I don't care. Outside of a Cowboys game where things just went completely off the rails and you allowed 5 field goals because Zach Wilson was terrible. You've allowed 15 points to the New England Patriots in a game that you should have won if you had even competent quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson last night beats that Patriots team, not close. All I need was the 3 good drives you had and 1 dart like you threw to Alan Lazard. That's enough to beat New England. You could very easily have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs last night. You play the Broncos this week. You go to an Eagles team that defense is not really putting the fear of God in me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go Giants, Chargers, Raiders before you get back into the division. It is not out of the realm of possibilities that this team's going to be 5-4 going into Buffalo. I know that sounds crazy. If you can bottle up what Zach Wilson did last night, this season's not over. Because there are teams in this AFC that are not nearly as good as we thought they were.
I would agree.
The Cincinnati Bengals are not as good as we thought they were.
We said that at the beginning of this season. Or, I guess, after the Monday night game, where Aaron Rodgers went down. If Zach Wilson can be half-assed, this team's going to be good.
Do you remember in the preseason? I'm going to re-reference what you're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what we wanted the record to be after 5 weeks going into Philadelphia?
I don't remember.
2-3. To make the playoffs, you needed to be 2-3 or better. You go in and beat the Broncos next week, and you should, because they are arguably the second worst team in the NFL.
You'll be 2-3.
Justin Fields just carved them up for 3 quarters. The season's not over yet.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
No,
there's an ugly part where you have to play the Bills and the Dolphins, but then you catch the Falcons, the Texans, the Commanders right there all together. You sneak one out of the division, you end late with the Browns and the Patriots. I mean, that Browns defense is evil, but they don't score points easily. I don't think this is as lost cause of a season as a lot of other people do.
No.
I saw enough in Zach Wilson last night to keep me watching at the very least.
Yeah.
I saw a rallied locker room. They were a little defeated by the officials. That's on Robert Saleh. All right, you got to rally the troops and go, that kid, what you just saw is what I have been defending on this podium for weeks. I know it's in him. Nate got it out last week. Now we got to figure out how to get Breece Hall the ball. It is inexcusable to have 16 carries in an NFL football game. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how good your quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a mediocre at best, having the best game of his life, that's fine. Breece Hall having that few carries is inexcusable. Nathaniel Hackett beat you last night because Kansas City gave you every opportunity, and that defense did everything you needed them to. Oh, Isaiah Pacheco had all these yards. First of all, don't do push-ups. That I guarantee you, Isaiah Pacheco woke up this morning and went, I hurt a lot because C.J. Mosley took that personally, and he should have. That defense is good enough to win you a lot of games.
Yes, it is. I've never doubted that.
Nobody's ever doubted that.
The thing has been, how good can Zach Wilson be? And it's great that he showed up and he played well. Awesome. I can't trust you to do it again. Ever. I mean, I'm at that point. Like, now I just have to see it. And
for me, Chris Collinsworth figured this out. You got to get the ball out of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a good enough quarterback to be ad-libbing, getting into that the third read. You got 2 reads. 2 reads, and either throw the ball in the dirt or take off. He overthinks everything. If you're simplifying this down, which is exactly what I think happened. I think Nate Hackett, after they got down 17-0, went, look, kid, you're playing for the rest of your life. Because if we come out here and get beat 45-0 tonight on national television with all these Tay-Tay people watching, your career's over. Nobody will ever trust you again.
Mm-hmm.
Just cut it loose. Here are 2 reads on every play, and then either get rid of it or dump it off. Or take off. He did that a couple times too.
Mm-hmm.
You can win with that formula. And I know I sound like a homer, and I'm sure a lot of you think that, and I don't care. I've watched every snap of that kid's career. I have only seen him look like that one other time. I felt like Mike LaFleur put way too much on him. And that was the old Sam Darnold argument of you did not give this kid enough to be good. Last night you did.
Yep.
And you played blow for blow with the best team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Or at very worst, the second best team in the AFC. You made Pat Mahomes look average. By the way, I do find it really funny that now there are a whole slew of people that watched that as their first NFL game that think Zach Wilson's better than Pat Mahomes.
Oh, God.
You're out there. You're singing Taylor Swift songs. I know you are. Last night was the first time in Pat Mahomes' career that an opposing – and I'm talking going all the way back to college – that an opposing quarterback had fewer interceptions, more completions, more passing yards, and a higher QBR.
Wow.
Only one ever. Joe Burrow never did it. Josh Allen didn't do it. If you can bottle up what you found there is a reason to think that if Aaron is doing some voodoo witchcraft and could get back on the field, there might actually be a reason for him to do it.
And he will. I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers is one of those that makes a lot of empty promises. I mean, unless he says we're going to go win a Super Bowl, which he's done a couple of times. But
here's the other thing that nobody talked – at least I didn't hear anybody talk about this last night. The offensive line, that ain't a problem anymore. You did what all of us clamored for and not stick 98-year-old geriatric Dwayne Brown out there on the left side. Put your former first-round pick, Mekhi Becton, on the left, Vera Tucker on the right, put the rookie in the middle, and guess what? Zach Wilson stayed clean virtually the whole night.
Mm-hmm. There
is cause for optimism with the New York Jets. Now, this could be Lucy with the football, and they could lose to the Denver Broncos next week. It's the most must-win game of the weekend, and I think they're going to blow the Broncos out.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Jeremy, you got a parlay coming because it's another football night in America. It's time to make some money next.